Welcome to the Complete Game Podcast, where we're all about baseball with Ethan Dungan, owner of Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop, Rick Finley, founder of MD&I Baseball Academy, and the creator of George Foster Baseball, the MVP himself, Reds Hall of Famer George Foster. I'm your host, Greg Dungan. Now let's talk baseball. All right. Well, welcome back to the second half of season 1. We're so excited to be back with you guys today, doing another episode of the Complete Game Podcast. We took a little time off in the summer so that everybody could go to tournaments and play ball, and George could work on his golf game. And
Ethan had a baby.
Ethan had a baby. Well, technically his wife had a baby. Let's give credit where it's due. But yeah. So we've got lots of fun things that happen. So everybody have a good little time off there.
I did.
Eventful.
When you have that amnesia, you don't remember.
Yeah, George was showing up on television quite a bit there, and down
I didn't
at the
get
Reds
paid.
game.
Waiting for my check.
No, but you guys did some nice things down there with the 50th anniversary of the,
that was
the
great.
75 team.
Seeing guys hadn't seen it really 50 years. That's
Yeah.
a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They still remember me. That's what.
Did you see Dan Dreesen?
Yeah.
Did
He came all the way from Hilton Head.
did he really? That was cool.
Yeah.
Who came the furthest for that one?
From Dominican, a couple of guys, Sarmiento, Alcala. So David Concepcion couldn't come because he had a lung transplant.
Yeah.
Oh,
But other than that, yeah.
But have you heard any more about it? Is he doing well?
He's getting better, but his body's adjusting to the new lungs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be praying hard for Davey. Yeah, that's want to see him do well. But yeah, they honored Pete over the break, and
that
so
was great
You guys got to
day.
do that too. So
Yeah.
did a lot of things down in. It's been a big red machine summer in Cincinnati.
Now they're
Yes.
one game out of the wild card, so they have a chance.
yes, they do.
The Mets keep playing like
well.
they're playing.
Made some good acquisitions at the trade
did.
deadline.
Yeah.
If you haven't yet had a chance, we did a special episode, George and I did, where he walked through everything at the All-Star break. We started talking about where the Reds have come and what we're hoping to see for the rest of the season. So check that out. Yeah, that was a good episode. All right, so today we're going to talk about switch hitting, and we're talking about
On the field.
Yes, we're talking about should all players learn to switch hit? And this is an interesting question because there's lots of different thought on does it help you to be a better hitter? Does it make you more useful? What implications does this have for giving you playing time, getting you in a batting order, that kind of thing, helping you make a team? That kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about all that today. But we're going to kick off with Name 5, and we're going to talk about our 5 favorite, not the 5 greatest. We're going to talk about our 5 favorite switch hitters. And so, Ethan, why don't you start us off?
So when it comes to favorites, the first guy on my list is Jose Reyes.
What?
I love Jose Reyes, man.
Who is he? Oh, he played shortstop. Oh, okay.
I was say you played for his team at one point in time.
I know.
Okay. But yeah, just a great infielder, good top of the order guy, a guy who led the league in stolen bases 3 different times. And in his prime, he really was the embodiment of that kind of utility 5-tool kind of guy. Had a little bit of power, had that speed, had that versatility, I think is a good word.
That's
for
the
him.
word.
And then I'm going to jump to another shortstop from a similar, a little bit earlier, Jimmy Rollins. A guy who he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I don't know if he'll quite.
Was he MVP?
He was MVP.
Oh,
yeah.
I like Jimmy Rollins.
MVP. He's got a World Series, 4 Gold Gloves, 3 All-Stars, a Silver Slugger. So he's got some accolades. And I just don't. I think he gets overlooked a lot, especially at that time when you've got guys like Derek Jeter or Alex Rodriguez, that kind of thing. I think Jimmy Rollins gets the short end of the stick sometimes. So
You do.
wanted to give him his nod. Another switch hitter, top of the order guy who just had a lot of at bats. Led the league in triples 4 different times. So if that means anything.
Yeah.
Then I've got kind of a twofer here, but a short twofer. Billy Hamilton and Tucker Barnhart. Now the reason I picked them is because both of those guys were switch hitters who then stopped switch hitting for a period of time. And so I think that'll probably come up later in the episode. But
I think their visa ran out.
but I liked watching them when they played. Billy Hamilton was just an absolute show every time he stepped out onto that field. And he's ended up focusing on his left-handed hitting later in his career. And then Tucker Barnhart, a switch hitting catcher. And you love to see that.
Plus,
so
yeah.
quick little twofer there. My number 4 guy, I'm going to go with Carlos Santana, another guy that I think gets overlooked. I mean,
he does.
A guy who's been playing for 16 years. He's got over 300 home runs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he gets overlooked. He
does.
Came up as a catcher, then started playing a lot of first base. That's been his main deal. But kind of a guy that every team would. I can't think of a team that wouldn't benefit from having Carlos Santana in a lineup somewhere.
Every place he's gone, he's done a good job.
Exactly. And then last but not least, this is a fun one. Carlos Zambrano was a switch hitter.
Yeah.
true, yeah.
And so nobody who pays attention to a switch hitting pitcher. But Carlos Zambrano has
Lighter blue.
Carlos Zambrano has a special place in my heart for just the power he had as a pitcher and how much fun that is.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I knew that he was a switch hitter. So that's my
Ask him. He'll tell you.
yeah. But that's my 5 right there.
That's pretty good.
All right, George, who you got?
I got a couple of guys that are not really known much, so not as known as the one that Ethan had. I'll start with this guy named Mickey Mantle.
Who? What team did he play for?
Eminem. Yeah. But this guy accumulated. Get the word accumulated. 536 home runs. Hall of Famer. I mean, I think one thing that I love about him is power from both sides.
Yeah.
And so having a guy like that. You turn him to the right side or left side, doesn't really matter. And like today's game where you have Dela Cruz, I think he's more of a consistent hitter from the right side, but he try to hit the ball in the Ohio River from the left side. But he's coming along. Another guy, he led the league. Led the world in hits, over 4,000 hits. I don't know when he starts switch hitting, but I think his dad encouraged him to do that. So it's name of a flower, Pete Rose. This is a guy. He's going to go out there and win batting titles, hit a lot of doubles, and get hits. He's going to accumulate over 200 hits a season. That's consistency.
Well, and almost as good from one side as the other. I think he was like just over 300 from the left and 280 something from the right, if I'm not mistaken. I know they were really close. Like his averages were really close on both sides.
But this guy had a great eye from each side of the plate, and from the left side he had probably more. Hit for a better average, a little bit better, but I know he hit probably more home runs from the right side. But he had great balance up at the plate. And knowing that when he goes up there, he's going to be a tough out. This guy's a Hall of Famer also. Back to Pete, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he had to wait 2 more years. I don't know why they had to wait, Commissioner. No, it's not the commissioner. He doesn't have anything. Maybe he has something to do with it. Maybe it's Donald Trump. I don't know.
Maybe the Veterans Committee.
And this guy, many don't talk much about, but Ted Simmons. Ted Simmons, the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And talking about man on base, you have Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, and those guys on base, he's going to drive them in. So he didn't get a lot of focus because Johnny Bench, he competed at Johnny Bench as far as catching, but he was a great hitter from both sides. And there's another guy. He played for the Dodgers, played for the Red Sox. Great arm, Reggie Smith. Many may not remember that name, Reggie Smith. But if you ever fought with the Red Sox or whatever team that he's on, make sure you stay away from him. You may wake up 2 days later. So Reggie Smith, he's number 4 on my list. But those guys are. You look at most of those guys I mentioned thus far are power hitters, but Pete had the most hits of all time. And this one, he's a Hall of Famer, Eddie Murray.
Oh,
yeah,
that's what I had, Eddie.
I started to save it, but said no, stay with power. But this guy, we talk about every team he went to, he did a great job.
Yes, he did.
Played for like 5 different teams, and he was just consistent. For all of them.
Well, I want to point something out. I found this out when I was doing my research for this. Eddie Murray has over 3,000 more at-bats than Mickey Mantle, and Mickey Mantle still has 32 more home runs.
Amazing.
So that just shows the frequency with which Mickey Mantle was hitting home
the
runs.
the frequency, yeah.
We'll go with that too.
All right. But yeah, Eddie, I mean, he's one of those guys that I like this phrase, a silent assassin.
Yes, because he is quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet, but he'll creep up on you. Look out.
But he played for so long, too.
From 77 to 97.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he has the record for the most career sacrifice flies
Interesting.
with 128.
Eddie, interesting.
Cool. Pretty cool.
But last but not least, so he was a rookie, and then here Lee Mays at a first baseman too. So Lee Mays in the outfield talking to one of the other outfielders. And they told Lee, I think you got to find a new position because you got a young kid coming up there.
Awesome. Rick, who's on your list, buddy?
Man, these are all, I'll say 4 Latino switch hitters.
Oh,
There you go. I like a theme.
Yes.
andale.
So, I'll start off with our current Francisco Lindor.
Lindor.
There you go.
Okay. So I like him. Very consistent.
That's
shortstop.
He's not even on my list. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, good. Does it all. I wish the Cleveland Guardians, Indians
Would've kept
should have
him?
kept him.
No,
Yeah.
good for the
'Cause
Mets.
then, guess what? He would have teamed up with still.
Jose
Ramirez,
Yeah.
who's a switch hitter.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that guy.
Another guy that's
He's
overlooked.
intense all the
Yes,
time.
he is. He's a little short, little spark
A
plug.
little bit taller than you.
Yeah, man,
Little bit.
little bit,
Right.
little bit, not too much, man. So those
He has
guys,
a good right punch, you know. Anderson, bam.
Yeah. Ended Anderson's career more or
Yeah,
less.
he
did.
sure did.
He had a
man.
good-
I think it messed with him
No,
mentally.
yeah, it did because he had a concussion, but he didn't know it. I mean, it's not funny, Rick, but I think he gave him a concussion.
He did. So my other ones are Carlos Beltran, Roberto Alomar.
Good.
Yes,
A Hall of Famer.
yes.
How could I forget him?
Yes, Carlos Beltran, and he came up with the Royals when he first came up.
Yeah,
Switch
that
hitter.
playoff he had with the
Yes.
Astros. That's what
That's
put him
what.
on.
That's
on
what
the
put
map.
him on.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what put him on. Roberto Alomar, he could field. He had a lot of Gold Gloves. He can hit. Yeah. So the other two, Jorge Posada and
Yep.
Bernie Williams.
Another switch
Oh
hitter.
yeah.
There you go.
Yes, the Yankees
Wow.
duo. Man, some good stuff.
There, I didn't even think of those guys.
Yes,
that's
so,
good.
Okay, and Tucker Barnhart.
We got
used
that.
to coach against him. I remember coming up. So he used to play for the Indiana Bulls.
Right.
And our team used to play against their team a lot, several times, probably about 4 or 5 times. And he was a switch hitter. He played shortstop also at that time. And he, I think the last time we played him, that's when he was behind the plate. And I remember.
Yeah, been a switch hitter and been a catcher. Been a
Yeah.
switch hitter, been a catcher, being a left-handed hitter, been a catcher.
Yes.
Advantage.
Yes.
Definitely.
And then
This is your 10th.
no, it's not. And also, I wanted to say my son Ricky was a switch hitter that played with other switch hitters in the same lineup, and one was Jacob May, Lakota
yeah.
West. His
Dad.
granddad.
Lee
Yes,
May,
was
yeah.
Lee, and Jacob in high school he hit against Mason. He hit 2 home runs, both from each side of the
There
plate.
you go. Yeah.
And another last one was Mel Rojas Jr. My son Ricky and him. So my son Ricky is a switch hitter also, and Mel Rojas his I think Cookie Rojas.
Cookie,
Mel Rojas. So they played in the major leagues, and that was teammates that he was in the lineup. All of them were switch hitters. So that's it for me.
Cool.
Very
Awesome.
good.
Well, the theme of my 5 is what's left.
What's up?
Okay.
No, what's up?
We did miss at least
going what's left.
one significant
There are
I
a
was
one.
just
lot of
saying,
them. There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah, the biggest
is.
one we missed was Chipper Jones.
Yeah. I thought one of you would have that.
Oh, there
I
you
did
go.
have
Okay.
that. But I went with the Latino theme a
All
little
right,
bit.
all right.
Yeah.
So yes, it is Chipper.
Chipper Jones.
Yeah.
And Chipper was a heck of a hitter. I'll
Yes,
tell
he
you.
was.
That's probably the first guy I think of. when I think switch hitting is Chipper Jones.
Yeah, I mean, just a powerhouse down there in Atlanta.
But he's another one of those silent assassins.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And then a couple of guys who are more known for stolen bases than other things. But Vince Coleman,
Yeah.
was a switch hitter.
Yes.
And Tim Raines.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about Tim Raines.
Tim Raines.
Yeah.
You know, you think about it. Well, he was a switch hitter, but yeah, he also had over 800 stolen bases. I mean, you know,
There's one,
well
you may
player.
mention it, but in today's game, if you need one, a current switch hitter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Ellie De La
agree.
Cruz. Yeah.
No. He leading the league, leading the world in home runs.
Talk about Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
I had him on my list too.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. I also found this because I wondered if there are some positions that have more switch hitters than others, and that's a hard thing to quantify because you have so many different levels, guys in and out, and that kind of thing. But I did think it's interesting that there are 8 major league catchers who are switch hitters who have played 50 or more games in the big leagues so far this year. So you've got Cal Raleigh, Patrick Bailey, Jonah Heim, Victor Caratini, Adley Rushman, Edgar Carrero, and Keibert Ruiz, and then also Jose Herrera. So there's a I was surprised.
That's
I didn't expect that many. But then Cal Raleigh really.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's brought notoriety.
Oh yeah.
The other guys, I'm watching the game, I may not see
Sure.
them batting from either side, but yeah.
And he was batting from both sides in the home run derby.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
impressive.
That is
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
The other my current favorite switch hitter is Ellie De La Cruz. So I like to watch Ellie do what he's
Cruising.
doing. Ellie's doing better this year than I've seen yet,
Yes, he has.
yet in his career. and
It's
been
you
good
can
to
see the mental development happening
Yeah.
every
At the
game.
plate. Yeah.
He's
In
more-
the field,
he can-
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I dig that about Ellie De La Cruz. He's cool. The other thing I wanted to add about Mickey Mantle that I thought was really interesting when I was doing the list and doing my research, the interesting thing about Mickey Mantle, not only was he amazing, but the pressure that must have been on him because he was following Joe DiMaggio.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Joe DiMaggio is like one of the greatest names of all time, and he's the next center fielder. That's like being the next catcher that follows Johnny Bench. Like,
right.
I mean, goodness gracious.
Poor Bo Diaz.
Yeah.
Oh,
So all that pressure on him, and Mantle delivers in spades. With a stellar career and lots of accolades. It reminds me of going from like Derek Jeter to Alex Rodriguez. He's like
Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers kind of deal. Yeah.
You got guys, one guy following another guy with all the pressure on him, and he comes through, which is kind
Well, most of those guys, they don't look at it as pressure; it's a challenge. And Mickey Mantle, he had a lot of help there. That's what is great about with that Yankee team. They were there to support one another. But some other teams, they may be a little jealous of this. But DiMaggio, I met him. He's a team player.
What was it like growing up then, watching like Mickey Mantle play on television? Like, how cool was that?
It was great. I mean, you have a Mickey Mantle, you have a Willie Mays in another league, and I mean, you had great hitters to watch all the time. Then you have when you get spoiled.
Yeah.
So you go watch like an Ozzie Smith. You don't appreciate it as much because I was more power minded.
Right.
And with Mickey, he didn't. When he took a swing, he didn't miss.
Yeah.
But he was devastating up there at the plate. But we didn't talk about the fact that he's well rounded. He had good speed too.
Yes, he can.
Good arm.
He's got a good arm.
Yeah, in an era heading into an era where the American League didn't have the power and the talent that the National League had there heading into, like when you started coming up and having through the late 60s and mid 70s, you guys were talking, you've mentioned several times about, just the sheer dominance of the National League.
Right. Well, you saw that in the All-Star game. So the commissioners started to try to get more balance.
Yeah.
But it changed. It keeps changing. People don't really realize the big change. So you go like the Cardinals, they're built on speed. The Dodgers built on speed. And you go to, the Reds, they were built on power. Yeah. So they start getting more balance. And you saw when he got a Joe Morgan got a Geronimo with a Joe Morgan. So we had more speed. We had speed, balance, speed, and then we had power. So many different ways that team put together could beat you in different ways.
And was Pete the only switch hitter in the grade 8 lineup?
Yeah, it was the only one. Pedro Bourbon probably claimed that he was a switch hitter, but as long as he did well on the mound, but Pete was. But that create balance with the number of left-handers and right-handers in that lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lineup was more
Had a lot of
about
lefties.
left and right, a
Yes.
good mix of left and right, rather than having people.
Well,
who
it was a protection and complementary. So for Tony Perez, myself, and Johnny Bench, you have a
Right,
Griffey, and you have a Joe Morgan. Those guys can hit lefty pitchers as well as right-handers, but they had speed. And I say this many times: is that speed sets up power, and they're like, well, how does speed set up power? Because the catcher's going to call more fastballs,
Right.
And so you have guys like I said, myself, Perez, and Bench are fastball hitters. So it's like, for me, eating, having a carrot cake, that's my favorite dessert. So if that fastball is coming, it's not going to pass.
Right. Cool. My last one, my number 5, just because I just love this guy, and I love any time you get to talk about this guy, is Bobby Bonilla.
Yes.
What's it, July 4th?
Yeah.
Yes.
What
Bobby-
a great
it's,
contract.
Bobby Bonilla,
Yes.
the greatest
Bobby Bonilla
negotiation
day.
in all of sports history, as far as I'm concerned.
Greatest on his part, but
Yes.
but I don't know who was there, but the Mets thought, oh yeah, we don't want to get him out of here. That's the way to get him out of here. Go ahead, we'll give you this.
You should have negotiated your deal with the Mets that way. That would have been great.
Yeah, I needed that agent.
Yes. That contract goes through 2034, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's written like he gets paid till Jesus comes. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
pretty much the
background.
deal.
Yeah.
Goodness
Yes,
gracious,
I think it was
that's
30
awesome.
years or something.
That is great. Just sit back and here's my annuity.
30, 40.
So you finished the season last year, exhausted from all the travel and the tournaments, and you tossed your gear in a bag where it's been sitting all winter. Now you're ready for another year, but your favorite glove that fits just right is an error waiting to happen. The leather's dry, the laces are brittle, and this year you're on a new team with new colors, and it sure would be cool if it matched. Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a glove guy who could help you out with that? You do. His name is Ethan, and he owns Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop in Fairfield, Ohio. Just contact him at glovehound.com and upload pictures of your glove. He'll give you a call back to talk it over, and then you can send it in for a repair, relace, recondition, whatever you need. If you're in the area, you can even just stop by the shop. That way you don't have to bother with shipping, and a lot of times he can even fix it while you wait. Rawlings, Wilson, Mizuno, All-Star, Nakona, he's seen them all, and he's helped players at all levels, from beginners to pros. Last year he worked on a glove that Jose Trevino used in the World Series, and he can help you too. You can find Glovehound on Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at glovehound.com. You're only going to get busier, so reach out today and give your glove the love it deserves at Glovehound. So, okay, well, I want to move into the main thing here, and we're going to talk about. So I got some questions for us. So we're going to talk about different aspects of switch hitting. So the first thing I want to know is what are the advantages, in your opinion, of being able to switch hit?
For me, I feel that the ball's coming towards you. You're, say, a left-handed pitcher to me and being right-handed. So the breaking ball is coming towards you, and vice versa with a lefty, a right-hander. So you get a chance to see the ball coming towards you. But when the ball's going away, I think a lot of guys have a bigger challenge. And plus, you need to try to hit to the opposite field all the time, but now you have better balance that way. Back to the Cardinals, and when you bring in a pitcher, you don't know if you should bring a right-hander in or left-hander in because you have such good balance up there. And back to Mickey Mantle, another guy we didn't mention, he learned how to switch hit when he was in the major league level, was Maury Wills. But just being able to get on base for him, because his forte was stealing bases. So I just feel that the breaking ball is coming towards you, you have a better chance.
When you're talking about, let's talk about two different kinds of breaking balls for
Right.
first there. So let's talk about the curve versus the slider. Is there an advantage? Is it an advantage for both of those pitches to be opposite hand?
Primarily that slider, because it looks like a fastball, then all of a sudden has that break on it.
Right.
The curveball, you can see it longer,
Yes.
but still the one that's more of a threat is the slider.
Feeling like it's always better to have it running into you than away from you.
Right. But you got to learn how to hit it. Some of these guys, I don't know, they hate themselves. Got to keep hitting themselves in the shin or the knee.
Yeah.
Like Yelich, he broke his kneecap.
Yeah,
Like I said,
crazy.
I wanted to tell him, I know a way you can prevent doing that.
What are some other advantages that you have from switch hitting? I know that I have very limited experience with it, but I do remember, and I was never formally trained to do it, but I do remember having a hard time hitting right-handed for a while. And so I thought, I'm just going to see if I go in here and sort of teach myself to hit left-handed, just put myself in a batting cage and keep doing it until I figure it out. And it actually, I believe it helped my right-handed hitting.
It does.
By doing that.
Yeah, I know for me, I was always a right-handed hitter, and but there was a time, especially I always struggled pulling my head. Always from the time I started to the time I finished, probably. And
You
switching
get a
to
neck brace for that.
well, I remember Rick had me biting my shirt at one point, just trying to keep my head down.
Didn't we create some sort of weird sort of sling
Yeah, we
thing?
tried to.
Tried to build
Need
something to keep your head
Maybe
down.
a taser.
But we would, because I pull like this, but if you're hitting left-handed, then you're not even looking at the ball. So you have to look the other direction. And so I found that very helpful. And then also kind of going hand in hand with doing isolated top hand, bottom hand drills with a short bat.
Yes.
It forces your hand to do something different and to train it in a different way. So I definitely found that it helped my head and definitely helped my hands and probably even out my hips a little bit as well.
Yeah, it helped me to be able to see what the ball was doing, to be able to see the spin, to be able to see the drop, to be able to see it just from a different angle.
spin, yeah.
Helps me flip over to the other side and then see it from that perspective as well.
It gets you into we get you into the lineup more often too, because we talked earlier about if you're left-handed hitting catcher or switch hitter, you're going to get a chance more playing time.
So let's take a minute here and explain the particulars of switch hitting, because some people might not know how this works. Ethan, we were talking earlier, and you mentioned the fact that they had to create a rule. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the rule that had to be created was actually for switch pitchers, which
Ambidextrous.
by association kind of affects switch hitting. But my from all the research I can find, my best understanding is that a hitter can switch whenever he wants, as long as it's not in the middle of a pitch. So he can switch every pitch if he really wants to. And there's a story of a guy in Japan who does that every pitch, allegedly. But I'll read you here the rule for ambidextrous pitchers, and then we could talk about how that applies. It says a pitcher must indicate visually to the umpire in chief, the batter, and any runners the hand with which he intends to pitch, which may be done by wearing his glove on the other hand while touching the pitcher's plate. The pitcher is not permitted to pitch with the other hand until the batter is retired, the batter becomes a runner, the inning ends, the batter is substituted for by a pinch hitter, or the pitcher incurs an injury. In the event a pitcher switches pitching hands during an at-bat because he has suffered an injury, the pitcher may not, for the remainder of the game, pitch with the hand from which he has switched. The pitcher shall not be given the opportunity to throw any preparatory pitches after switching pitching hands. Any change of pitching hands must be indicated clearly to the umpire in chief.
Confusing.
Yes. Yeah, so he can't fake an injury and then switch back. But when this really came into effect was when Pat Venditti came up, because he was really the first switch pitcher, and so there's a couple instances you can find videos of it where there's confusion because the pitcher and the batter both just keep switchking back and forth, and then until the umpire just makes a declaration whether it was according to the rules or not, just to get the game moving.
That started back with when Bert Campaneris played every position, and so he's ambidextrous. So now you have Roy White as a switch hitter. So they kept switching according to what the pitcher would do. So the umpire says somebody got to declare.
Yeah.
So now it's all based on the pitcher. So the pitcher has to declare, and then the batter gets to choose based on that, which I think is fair because hitting's hard, and give the advantage to the batter if you're going to give it to anybody. But that, in a nutshell, is how it works.
Cool. So generally, you can switch during an at-bat, although generally you tend to see people stick with one side or the other for their at-bat.
I can't think of any time I've ever seen it, but
Not during a bat, but one guy that because we played a lot on the same team, Pete Rose, he would bat left-handed against Randy Jones.
Okay.
And Randy's a lefty, so that was different because he felt that he had a better chance hitting against Randy Jones from the left side compared to right side.
That would be interesting to ask like a handful of switch hitters, like what makes you decide whether you're going to choose opposite hand the pitcher or same hand as the pitcher, and why would you choose same hand?
Yeah, it's almost always opposite, but I mean, I guess there are rare occasions.
A few exceptions. And there was another guy, I forget his name, that he plays for the Dodgers now. They play for the Cardinals. Forget his name.
Tommy
Edman?
Edman?
Yeah. So now they had him stop switch hitting just to hit from one side.
And that brings me to the next point, which is, are there reasons why a player should not learn to switch hit?
If he's struggling.
No, the number one is that if you have more power from the right side and you don't want to switch it because you're going to go to the side that doesn't have as much power, you're going to have more at bats from that side. But if you don't have a lot of power from the right side and go into the left side, going to give you an advantage to make contact. And plus, as Rick was saying, if you're not making much contact, I tell someone, I said, maybe you are left-handed.
Well, like take for instance, we'll take your career for instance. See, when you're in there and your job is to move runners and hit for power, why did you never decide, hey, I think I want to be a switch hitter?
I was so powerful from the right side, I didn't want to make a change. Even though Michael Jackson said you got to make a change, but I just felt stronger from the right side, and going to the left side, my power's not going to be as strong.
Do you think it's better for a natural right-hander to switch hit over a natural left-hander learning to switch hit? With the idea that because lefties they're prized anyway for that ability. So is it even worth it for a natural lefty to try, or what do you think about that?
I would go towards the natural lefty being a switch hitter, because now there are a lot of lefties, left-handed pitchers who have a nasty slider. So being able to be on that right side, it's more becoming than having that lefty throwing you from your left side, and so it'll help your more quality at bat.
Plus, I suppose if you're almost always going off of opposite hand, then by default you're going to take more left-handed at bats because there's just more right-handed pitchers.
Right.
So I guess if you look at it from a ratio, a natural righty is going to take more left-handed at bats because of the right-handed pitching.
Right.
So it would be maybe harder to learn. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Interesting. But you're going to have to work harder, need to say. But now when I work with kids, especially under 10, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And it creates balance, being more symmetrical. So, but I just find that to give them a chance they may want to be. This one kid, he had a tryout. I said, okay, he's a natural right-hander. I said, I want you to bat right-handed in the tryout and choke up on the bat. Did he listen to me? No. He batted left-handed, but he hit the ball well. So not sometimes, but if you have confidence in it, that goes a long ways.
Is there a targeted age that you recommend trying that, or like, do you need to be a certain age? Because if you're too young, it's intimidating, it's overwhelming, or what are your thoughts on that?
At the age of maybe 8, well, you can do it earlier, but off the batting tee. Sure. But throwing to him soft toss or live throw at maybe 8 years of age, and from then it depends on how much that kid want to work at it. It's going to take longer as you get older, so that's why at 8 to 12, they're just having fun doing it. They're not as serious about it. So if they miss a few balls, it's not going to bother them. But when you get like 14 or 15 and you're not making contact with soft toss, they get discouraged.
Sure.
Yeah, there's that age when you're young enough that everybody's like, oh, he's trying it. It's cool. And then there's that age where they're like, oh, look, he thinks he's a switch hitter. You know, I mean, it's like, okay, now we're being more serious and you're risking the at bat. So, yeah.
But the other one I would add, if the guy has great speed and he's a natural right-handed, I want to put him on the left side. So teach him how to bunt.
For bunting, yeah.
Well, we're back to Billy Hamilton. You know, this is a guy I don't. It boggles my mind why in spring training they just get a pitching machine just to let him hit the ball to the left side on the ground. He hit more balls in the air. So he hitting the ball more balls in the air at the time than Joey Votto. So you got to hit the ball on the ground. Yeah. So learn how to hit the ball to the left side because I think he was a natural right-hander, and left side he thought he was a power hitter, but hit the ball like Maury Wills did the same thing, hit the ball on the ground and run.
Cool.
I'll throw another real quick bone out there for trying to decide if it's something you even want to try. One of the kids that I played with growing up who was a switch hitter played hockey. And he really just had superb hand-eye coordination. He was a very sure-handed middle infielder, and he was able to switch it just from that hockey experience, being able to kind of go both sides. So if I suppose if you've got the coordination and to give you that confidence, give it a shot.
Sure. Are there? Let's talk about what do you do if you have a switch hitter on your team. So let's put our coach hat on here for a second. And what are some of the offensive ways that you would use a switch hitter? And then we're going to talk about what are some of the defensive things you do when the other team has a good switch hitter. So let's talk about, you've got a good switch hitter on your team first. Where do you put him in the lineup? How do you utilize him? How do you make the best of that?
Depends on if he has good speed. He's going to be in the top of the lineup, and if he has good power, he's going to be in the middle of the lineup. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be indicative of running speed and bat speed.
I mean, I've watched that be of incredible value to the Reds this season because teams do not want Ellie De La Cruz hitting left-handed. No. So they will they're constantly bringing in
a lefty
to make him hit right-handed. And then I've seen Francona turn around. So they'll bring in the new guy to face De La Cruz, but with the 3-batter minimum, that guy has to either stay in or finish the inning. So then I've seen Francona take whoever's behind Ellie and swap him out with if it's not already a righty, to swap out a lefty with a righty to get because the pitcher's left-handed and he has to stay in there.
It becomes advantage for the Reds by them, like you said, that three batter minimum unless at the end of the inning.
So if he's got, I don't know, if he's got Lux or Fraley in there hitting behind De La Cruz, then they'll pull him out, put in Santiago Espinal or something like that, give it a righty look against that pitcher. So I mean that's been of incredible value for the Reds this season.
Yeah, but back to the Cardinals. I mean it doesn't really matter because they had so many switch hitters in that lineup, created great balance. And when I had been with the Reds, I said if I went to another team, I would love to go to the Cardinals because they have these guys that we call them road runners because they're fast
athletes.
And so I didn't have to hit a home run because Tommy Herr, I think he hit 10 home runs that one year and he drove in 110 RBIs. So there are a lot of guys. A lot of times they're going to be on second or third, and when the ball's hit to me, if a McGee or Audie Smith, get it in because they're going to try to go to second base.
So if the other team has a really good switch hitter, how do you work that? Other than just trading out your pitchers, what else can you do?
Just looking at the higher percentage, which side is he going to hurt you the most? Mm-hmm. And so, like back to De La Cruz, they feel he's going to hurt the team, them the most by batting left-handed. He's showing more power, so he's bringing a lefty in, and even though we may get a hit, but it's not going to be as damaging compared to a home run. So, and then you really look at a guy. Back to Pete Rose, though, he didn't really pull the ball much batting left-handed. So I remember playing with the Giants, and they wanted me coming in midway because he hit line drives. He didn't really get the ball, hit fly balls, but more line drives. So you change your defense, knowing that he's just going to hit line drives. You move the defense accordingly. Or like a De La Cruz, maybe he's going to hit to the right side from the batting right-handed.
Well, let's talk about that as far as the defense goes. So, like, you're playing left field. Knowing that the other team's got a switch hitter, it's important that you know what that person is capable of and likely to do from either side of the plate
Right.
from when they come up, because it's seeing them from one side may be entirely different from where you play on the other side.
But I watched him batting practice, so he can see. Truly, you can see where his strong side is and where he's going to hit it. And they may say this guy's a pull hitter, but I want to know if he's pulling in the air, putting on the ground. So if he's pulling in the air, I'm going to play deeper. If he's pulling on the ground, then I may play shallow. So that makes a big difference in a key situation. So you got to go out there and do your homework.
Ethan is more than my podcast partner. He's my son. And like every baseball parent, my first priority was his development as a player. Every year, we'd start out with a new coach and a new team, making new promises, only to end up playing the same old tournaments with little to no practice in between. You know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so thankful that we found MD&I Academy. I first met Coach Rick over a decade ago when Ethan was just a kid, and I'll never forget the relief I felt watching his first lesson. I knew right then that no matter what team he played for, my son would have amazing, consistent instruction from someone who cared. Rick has trained baseball and softball players at the select, travel, and even college levels, so I knew that Ethan could continue his excellence through training approach for his whole baseball career. He learned hitting, pitching, catching, fielding, and more all in one place. Most of all, he learned to love the greatest game in the world and how to play it with character and integrity. So if you're wearing yourself out, running all over town to multiple teachers, or worse, you're counting on that new select coach to actually develop your child, you need to check out MD&I Academy today. Go to mdaiacademy.com and contact Coach Rick to learn how you can get all the baseball instruction you need from someone who cares about your favorite player as much as you do at MD&I Academy. Okay, so moving on to skills and drills here. Let's talk about how should a player learn to switch hit? Like, okay, is there a proper way to teach this? Because, I mean, I learned by just standing in there and fooling around with it until I figured out how to do it, but I don't think I ever did it overly well. I certainly never did it in a game. So from your perspective, is
T-work, flips, front toss, live BP, use wiffle balls, whatever you need to do, golf balls, man, you use whatever. I think I taught my son, I taught Ricky when probably about 3-4 years old, and then just gradually built up, and then just let him hit. And usually when you having fun, just having fun with a kid and just doing front toss and throwing, they'll figure out their hand-eye coordination, man. You don't want to put too much on them where they feel like it's a job, they overthinking. You want that natural reaction and all of that to work for you, man. And then as they grow, then you start forming their skills a little bit more better. And,
Well, let me ask it from this perspective. So I can specifically remember the first few times trying to hit left-handed, I would fly way open because when you hit right-handed, your backside is the power side. And when you switch it around, now your strong side's in the front. Yeah. And your backside or my backside was underdeveloped. So do you have any specific drills that focus on maybe either strengthening the backside or closing off the front side?
So what happens is that it all starts with your eyes, which is your strong eye and your weak eye. Okay. So think about it. You hit from your dominant eye. Exact. Thanks. And so what happens is that you can, a lot of kids pull off, but now guess what? When you switch, so now your top hand, which is your strong hand, is now it's your bottom hand. Right. Okay. So now, like so for instance, Ricky is he hits open. From his left side, that's from the right side. From the left side, he's more closed.
More closed, yeah. Yes. I wondered about that.
Yeah, he's more closed. So guess what? His mechanics were simple, more simplified. Okay. Yeah, he didn't have too many. But as he moved up, like once he got to college, I think one of the scouts from the Arizona Diamondbacks, I remember the email. He says, tell Ricky his job is to get on base. It ain't trying to hit home runs. And because he was trying to yank the ball, trying to be like everybody else, Mel Rojas and all that. And it's like, nah, man, he's got speed. Hey, hit line drives, put the ball on the ground, run. So and I think being a switch hitter, like George was saying, know your strengths. Either power, fast. Even with power, you can still doubles and triples. Might not be a home run hitter, which he's not. So just know the player's strengths and weaknesses.
But yeah,
That's it.
I think what you're saying about top hand would be really important because otherwise, when you switch, that stronger hand is just going to pull that bat way around it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get any extension.
Nope.
So I could see that would
and
be.
You really got to work on top hand and bottom hand because you got to turn it around. That's why it's important that you spend a lot of time. You notice that there's more Latino switch hitters than there are American League switch hitters. Yeah. Because
with the academies there, they really work on that.
Yes, they really work on it, and it's just natural. Some of it is just natural hand-eye coordination, athletic ability, and stuff like that. But like George was saying, I do the same thing too. Just let kids just try. They say, "Can I switch?" Like, yeah, go ahead, man.
At that age, you're
them
developing.
Go ahead and yeah.
But different things. I mean, like Rick was saying, is do it over and over and over again. Take I did say tennis ball because it doesn't cost that much. Straighten up each hand. You can do push-ups. Push-ups is going to really help. Take up boxing is going to really help. So it's hand and eye coordination that's involved, and going from there.
One of the things, again, my whole baseball experience was low tech. Okay, it was the 80s. We lived in the boonies. It was just low tech. So one of the first ways I started messing with it was taking a broomstick and going outside and learning to hit rocks from the left hand side.
Right.
If you can toss it up and hit it. Because one of the things that I struggled with on the left hand side was my vertical. And being able to judge how high or low that ball was.
Yes. That's your timing.
Throwing it up and making that contact over and over and over again was helpful. And you can do it by yourself, and it doesn't matter. I just go outside and sit and hit rocks with a broomstick.
And that's another thing I know, and especially in a lot of last season's episodes, we advocated for kids doing more practice type, I'll get it out. Rather, not necessarily running practice, but running more drills. Yes. And there's a lot to be learned from hitting fungo, especially on a fungo bat where it's longer and the barrel is smaller. Hitting, I can definitely see how learning how to do that
back
would
control.
I just did it the other day with a kid. And he was swinging and pulling his head. I said, this is the easiest drill to do. You don't need anyone. And if you do it at home, use some wiffle balls.
Yeah.
The soft toss drill.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep your head still. Yeah. And so they get frustrated. I said, you got plenty of time, man. But the key thing is you got to keep your head still, man.
Yeah. The thing I like about the rocks and the broomstick is you don't got to go chase them.
Nope.
Right.
So, I was always a big one for it. I want to hit stuff.
If you hit a window.
Yeah, don't hit it
well,
towards
you go
the
out
house.
in the field. You go out in the field where it doesn't matter. Being able to, we had this big field across the street from the house where I grew up, and we'd just sit there and hit them across the street.
Ain't that fun?
You don't have to go. You don't have to go chase them, which is nice.
Small rocks, big rocks. Not too big of a rock.
The other thing was just learning to do things left-handed. Like, give yourself a challenge. Eat dinner one time and use all of your silverware with your left hand.
You want to feel real stupid? Brush your teeth left-handed.
I'm telling you.
Gosh.
Yes.
When you learn to do common things left-handed, all of a sudden your body starts thinking, oh, I can do this. I can do more than this.
Wake up
left-handed.
that side.
Yeah.
Everybody first thinks about, well, I'm going to write my name. Well, writing your name is really hard. Okay.
Yeah.
So start with something simple like I can feed myself left-handed.
Do you have any lefties in your family?
My aunt is left-handed, and I have an uncle who's left-handed.
What about you, George? You have any?
My sister.
Okay, yeah, I have a lot of lefties.
My dad tells stories of my great grandfather who was quite the ball player in his day. he was completely ambidextrous. And so it didn't matter what glove.
He would walk left-handed and walk right-handed.
Yeah, he'd just throw me a glove and he would just play. And if he had to switch gloves, he'd just switch gloves and then just throw the other hand. It wasn't any big deal. And so ambidextrous things have kind of been things that we've learned in our family over the years, like fishing. We all learned to fish both ways because here's the thing. When you're fishing, especially if you're looking for reels, it's easier to find left-handed reels because fewer people want them.
For real?
Yeah. So if you want to find that hard to get reel, there was a while there where Shimano made a reel called the Corrado, and it was really hard to find. But you could find the left-handed versions because fewer guys wanted them.
I never knew that it was a left-handed, right-handed reel.
Yeah, there is. Which side the reel's on?
Oh, okay.
So Dad had the left-handed ones; they were easier to get, and we learned when we learned to pitch and flip, we learned to do it left-handed.
But that's good. That's a good exercise for
because
one.
Otherwise you got to cast with your right hand, and then switch hands and reel with your right hand. And it's inefficient. So if you could just cast with your left hand and reel with your right, and you don't ever have to switch hands, you can get a lot more casts in. And when you're fishing bass tournaments, and every time you put it in the water, is one more shot. Yeah. Okay. So when I came up, it was learn to do it this way because you get more time with your bait in the water. And so there were just things like that growing up where it was so we'll just learn to do it left-handed instead of right-handed.
I want to pose a question to you, George.
You're pointing at me. Don't point at me.
You want me to gesture to you? When it comes to playing outfield, are there different positions in the outfield that you would prefer one-handedness over the other? I think you see left and right-handed players playing all positions, playing all three positions.
Yeah.
But the reason I ask is because there's a Yankees prospect named Anthony Siegler who is a switch fielder. And so he catches right-handed, but plays left field left-handed. So is there an advantage to a handedness in the outfield, do you think?
Just visualizing, I like that left-hander if he's when you go into but you had how you go into the corner to get the ball. I think that a left-handed thrower is going to have an advantage. Playing left field. Compared to the right-hander goes in, he's has his back turned to the target. So the left-hander has just being able to go in and spin. So I was coaching a team and I changed the guy who was in left-handed throwers in right field and I put him in left field, and I felt that it seemed like it was awkward for him to play right field. And so put him in left field. That was a good question, but a good advantage having that left-handed thrower.
Some other things that help to coordinate both sides: learn to play an instrument, especially learn to play guitar, learn to play piano.
Not just like playing the radio, Rick.
Yeah, when I started learning to play piano, it really made a difference with the left hand. It makes your left hand a lot more coordinated, and you feel more comfortable doing something with the left hand. So, play a two-handed instrument of some sort of string instrument or something like that. It will help you. Saxophone, trumpet's not so much because it's pretty much one hand, but you do have to work slides and things like that. But something like playing piano or learning percussion or drumming, those kinds of things can be very
guys
helpful.
Like Reggie Smith, they love hitting the drum, so that'd be good.
Yeah, it can be very helpful in training that left hand to do more than just wear a glove.
Level swing. Let it travel. Wait for your pitch. Be aggressive out there.
It's no wonder young players get confused at the plate. What if your son or daughter could learn not only how to hit the ball, but also where to hit it, when to hit it there, and why? George Foster has played baseball at the very highest levels. He was the National League MVP when he hit 52 home runs and 149 RBIs in a single season. He led the major leagues in home runs twice and RBIs 3 times. He was a 5-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, and he helped the Reds win back-to-back World Series. During his 15-year career, George developed a unique approach to hitting that made him one of the greatest hitters of all time, and now your favorite player can learn it too. That's right, baseball legend George Foster is currently accepting new students. Learn the psychology of hitting, situational hitting, hitting for power, bunting, and more. Every team needs players who can hit, and George explains the game in a way that's easy to understand and exciting to learn. So check out GeorgeFosterBaseball.com to learn how you can apply for private lessons with a member of the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Spots are limited, and the roster will fill up fast, so don't wait. Apply at GeorgeFosterBaseball.com. Okay, so wrapping it up here, do we have any last thoughts on switch hitters and how it pertains to young players or coaches?
I think that if a player wants to switch hit, get as many reps in a game. Yeah, because that's the only way you're gonna know for sure if you can or can't do it. Yeah. So that's what
experiment young, I guess.
Yeah, experiment.
Yeah.
That's again.
What do you have to lose?
But you got to get coaches to not think of their ego,
Right.
and let the kid go ahead and just do it.
Especially if you got a lead or something like that, or if you're losing really bad too, I suppose, in a blowout game.
So in a blowout game, and you have the time limit. So have the kid go up, practice switch hitting then, because we want them to make it out.
Well, and so to finish up here, I'm going to kind of drag my soapbox out here for just a second, and go back to playing outside with your friends and playing sandlot and playing pickup games. These are the places where you can try things out. There's no pressure. You're not on the field. The tournament isn't happening. This is, again, when you play nothing but tournaments, everything is the playoffs, and there's no room for experimentation. When you play in a league, you have a little bit more room, but you still are really trying to win that game, trying to win that series. When you're playing in the backyard, it doesn't matter. You can try all kind of things.
Right.
Yes,
so
you can.
make the time to go outside and play. Kids, my goodness, make some time. Do a pickup game. Grab 4 or 5 guys and say, hey, let's meet at this park and go out there and just play. Find a spot in the grass, mark out some make-believe bases and go. But
that's how you learn.
Making that time to play outside will give you the time to experiment, and that can be invaluable in your development as a player.
But with the switch hitting last, is just try to get a left-handed throwing coach and a right-handed throwing coach. That's what we had in the major leagues, so you can work on that. Like in Pete Rose's case, he wanted to face that left-handed, work on his right side, and vice versa. So being able to get, even with the coach when he's doing soft toss, the guy's hitting from the right side, flip with your left hand.
There you go.
So you get an idea of seeing the ball coming from that area.
Well, and you've talked several times about the advantages of having Nuxall be able to throw you.
Oh yeah, but that really helped me because with a lefty throwing, that ball has a movement, and so that helped me to stay on the ball longer to focus on hitting the ball to right center. And I use my peripheral vision for the ball that's inside, but a right-hander, most of the time it's sinking in on you.
Yeah.
But that lefty, it gives me that great visual.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our discussion about switch hitting today and maybe learned a few things. More than anything, welcome back to the second half. We've got more episodes coming. This is the first of 12 episodes, so there'll be another 11 episodes before the season's over. So we hope that you'll tune in. Tell your friends. You can find us anywhere on the internet that you find podcasts, at Apple or Spotify or any of those places. You can also find us at CompleteGamePodcast.com, where you can find all of the episodes there. You can also find the podcast on George's website at GeorgeFosterBaseball.com, and you can find it at Rick's website at MD&I Baseball Academy or MD&IAcademy.com. You can find it on Glovehound.com. So find us somewhere, take a listen, join us for each episode, and we'll have a great time for the next few months. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Complete Game Podcast.
Adios.
We hope you've enjoyed the Complete Game Podcast, the show that's all about baseball. New episodes drop each week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. If you'd like to support the podcast, consider leaving us a 5-star rating, or better yet, drop us a comment or a question and let us know what you think. The Complete Game Podcast is produced and distributed by 2 Creative Digital Marketing. Check us out at 2creativedigital.com. On behalf of Ethan, Coach Rick and the Silver Slugger George Foster, I'm Greg Dungan saying have a great week, and we'll see you real soon.